Hello everyone, my name is Angelina Scriptor. If you don't know me, I am an aspiring writer and poet, and if you do know me, I thank you for returning to watch again. Today I'm going to be talking about my book. If you don't know, I am soon going to be publishing my first book. It is a poetry book, and hopefully within the next coming months, it's going to be on the market for all of you to enjoy. So if you don't know, my poetry book is a collection of 100 poems, all of which I wrote myself throughout my years from childhood all the way up until adulthood, but no further. I really wanted to capture the story of life, whether that be through my eyes, someone else's eyes, just the little stories that we pick up on our journey. And I think this book is going to do a great job at explaining that for many different types of people, whether they be extremely into metaphors and similes and finding the deeper meaning, or whether they just want to sit down and read a little book before bed. You don't have to go into too much depth with this book, but you could also explore it as deep as the oceans and beyond. So I want to show you my covers today, and I say that plural because there was a process in getting these covers. So for some background, I went to Fiverr.com where you can hire multiple different types of people for any type of skill, and I decided to give my shot at it to see if I could get an illustrator for my first book off of Fiverr. My budget was very wide. I wanted, someone that could give me good quality and everything that I envisioned, but also I didn't want to go spending a ridiculous amount of money on my first ever project. The story starts when I asked a woman that I saw doing really well for poetry covers. I asked her if she'd be interested. I provided her a description, and for my first answer, it was a no. She did not think she was capable of really doing what I had envisioned. For my second option, I decided to go more broad with it and hire 3 people at the same time. Don't tell them. So what I did was I wrote up a very brief yet in-depth description of what I wanted for my book, and I sent it to 1 woman and 2 men. The woman once again said no, but both guys responded with an enthusiastic yes, they'd love to give it a shot. And I got some very different results. One of them wanted to work extremely closely to creating what was in my mind's eye and replicating exactly what I was thinking onto paper, and he kept going through many different samples and results with me until we were satisfied. And the other guy, he asked me if it would be okay if I waited to pay him. He would follow his idea for what he was thinking, and this seemed a little dangerous, but we did it. We went with it, and you're gonna have to watch to the end to find out which cover I ended up using. So before I show you my covers, I have to obviously share some information about the book itself. As of right now, you don't know the title, anything about the back of the book, what it looks like, how thick it is, anything like that, and today that's gonna change. As my book is coming out soon, I'd like to give you a bigger picture of what you're going to be looking for in stores or online. So to begin, I would like to share my title. Before I even knew I was going to write this book, the title just stood out to me for many reasons, and I think once I share it with you, you're going to agree that it's a very good title for a book of this variety. And my title is Roses and Thorns, 100 Poems for Life. This poetry book really does capture the ups and downs, the hills and valleys that we go through every day. And I really thought Roses and Thorns was the perfect way to describe that, and matched with the back of my book. I think it really does a good job of explaining what you're about to get into. So without further ado, the back of my book. Angelina Scriptor began writing poetry when she was only a child, but one fateful day she decided to look back. It was only then that she realized she had something that most poetry books lack. While still only a teenager, Angelina noticed that life encompasses more than the simple routes of love and loss that other poets tend to focus on. Life holds both hidden beauties and traumatizing horrors, tucked intricately within its own pages, jumbled amongst themselves to further hide their signs of existence. Life is telling a story day in and day out. Slowly, it builds and breaks each of its characters, leaving them to individually collect the pieces of the puzzle that they constantly yearn to complete. And in the meantime, they are left to create their own stories, whether they do so while coming together with others, or if they're left to trudge down the dark path of life alone, barely making it to their next sentence. If you choose to read this book of poems, you will be met with many stories that Scriptor experienced over the years, whether they be her own or those she uncovered while peering down the path of another. This book holds not only the beautiful rosebuds of life's growth, but also its sharp, threatening thorns. Every page is left to fulfill another journey, never relying on that of another to do so. Sometimes words sit seemingly simple, but more times than not, its vines will burrow deep into the root of life, tugging at its very existence. That is for each reader to determine for themselves. May they decide to seek the answer. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek into my book, and I hope that it convinced you that little bit more that you're going to want to buy it when it does come out. So if it wasn't clear enough, this book is not in order. And when I say that, I mean it doesn't go chronologically where you have to go page 1, page 2, page 3. I've made it purposefully so when you open to a random page, you will be able to see a different story than what was on the page before and after it. You can read this in any order you want, including chronologically if you do want to, but that doesn't mean that you're relying on one page to the next to be able to read it like a lot of poetry books do go in. I really wanted to create this book when I realized there weren't many like it out there. A lot of poetry collections that are like that are by different poets in the book. I wanted to write my own poetry book, and when doing so, I also wanted to fulfill that side of poetry. Now what you're really here for. Let's talk about covers. So the first Fiverr artist really did show what I wanted in my cover, and the way I say this, you could probably guess which one I chose. I don't know, let me know in the comments what your guess is, and then let me know by the end of the video if you were right. So for my first set of samples from the first Fiverr artist, I got these 4. And I really did like where we were going with it, so I decided to stick with this one. And we decided to work forward from there, trying to morph it into more what my vision was. And going through it, we had this, we had this, we had these. We had a lot. And then during all of that, the other Fiverr artist got back to me and said, "What do you think of this?" And it wasn't exactly what I was originally thinking, but I loved it. I was really proud that this artist could just see what I wanted and combine it with his artistic vision and create something that beautiful instantly. So I decided to go with this at first while still working with the other guy. Both of their pages will be linked down below, by the way, if anyone is interested in checking out some of their work, because it is very impressive on both of their parts. And I decided to tell the second Fiverr artist, "I really like your second design, but I think it's a little too dainty for what I'm going for. It is beautiful, but not exactly what I'm looking for. Is there any way we can maybe combine your black and white idea with this beautiful idea?" And he instantly sent me this. Yeah, I knew who my cover artist was going to be. So we continued to work together while the other guy was sending me things like this. And again, they're all very beautiful, but at this point, I was just more leaning towards the other artist. And I do really applaud the first guy for actually fulfilling my vision, because it is very close to what I originally wanted. So after some time, the first artist and I reached a point where I was satisfied, and I did still buy the rights to this cover, so it is still mine. And it is going to be my fail-safe cover, where if anything were to go wrong, then I am going to be using this cover, so I do hope you like it. But for the second artist, we continued to work. I actually sent him my own little bad rendition of something I was looking for because I wanted some minor changes, and I figured the best way to do it was just show him what I wanted. And I sent him this, and he sent me back this. Yeah, this was going to work out. So by the end, this is my book cover. I think it fits the aesthetic purposes perfectly. I think it really shouts out for what I want. It's such the perfect cover for me to have for my first book. I'm proud to have my name on it, and I cannot wait to be holding it in my hands. So as I mentioned, I do think this book is going to be released within the next few months. It should be done by the end of 2022. So before 2023, this book is going to be on the market. And please, if you're interested, subscribe to find out when this book is ready. Follow my Instagram for more updates like this, shorter ones. Sometimes I post some funny stuff as well. And please like the video to tell me if you like updates like this. They're simple enough to make, and I do like connecting with all of you. So hopefully you'll stick around for a little bit longer, at least enough time to see my finished product. Give me a chance here. But other than that, comment down below which cover you actually like the best, and I will see you all in the future. Angelina out.